Hello, everybody, and welcome. Today is the second day of February 2026, and here I go again. So now that I've been doing these daily vlogs for over a month now, just over a month, about a month and 5 days, I guess, I figured it might be time to tell you a little bit about me. I was born here in Ventura back in 1969. I was born in the same hospital that my mom was born in. We were actually delivered by the same doctor. And I have grown up here and lived here my entire life. I went to Ventura High School, graduated there in 1987. Same place my mom and dad and various members of my family went, including like my uncles and my aunt that I know of for sure. I started work when I was 15 years old. I started working at a pet store, and I worked in the pet industry for probably the next 10 years after that, whether it be pet stores or aquarium stores, pet supply distributor, pet food, and anything to do with like ponds or aquariums. I actually did a pond filter business of my own and an aquarium maintenance service with a friend, retail mostly, a little bit of wholesale, and then some just working directly with clients for their ponds and aquariums. I graduated high school in 1987 here in Ventura. And I took a little time off before I started college. I think I met my wife and she was going to college. She had just started right out of high school. So I kind of started going to college as well. While I was working at the pet store, I had made a trip to Hawaii. I think I was 16. I think I had just turned 16. And I really got into like the tikis, and they have a lot of tropical plants there in Hawaii. They do, they did those days, they do now. Maybe not before, like in the early days, but a lot of non-native plants have gotten loose, I guess we could say, over there. I got very interested in tropical plants, as you can probably see behind me here. And I started planting a bunch of stuff at my parents' house when I was like, I don't know, I guess I must have been 15, 16 years old. Around that time. That is a passion that I have carried with me my whole life. And then after attending our local community college, I transferred to Northridge, and I finished up there with my degree in marketing. Upon completing my degree, I switched jobs and I went into medical staffing, of all things, from pet stores, aquarium stores, the whole pet industry, retail mostly. I went into medical staffing. Wow, I did that for like 10 years. I did medical staffing for like 10 years. And kind of about halfway through, I started getting into film and video production. And my first gig, as you could say, was for a 2-hour special on the History Channel. A friend of mine who was the associate producer on that show brought me on. And from then on, I just kind of started working out of the medical staffing service to going full-time in film, television, video production in some capacity. From then until from about 2000, 2001, when I got my first gig, first television gig, until about 2013, the end of 2013, I did various positions in production. And that also included being an advisor for students at a film school. So it was kind of like, I started off in camera. I went into editing pretty heavily. And then I went into working with the film school, helping the students get internships and jobs and things like that. And then I got fairly heavily into like multiplane animation, motion graphics, still dabbled a little bit in editing, and stuck with that until August of 2013, when my local Land Rover dealership asked if I wanted to work for them. And of course, I said yes, because I had been wanting to work for Land Rover for probably 10 years at that point. I just never made any moves on it, mostly because I had been an owner and a fan of Land Rover going back to like 1987. Actually, I think I bought my first one in like January of 1987. Been a big fan of the vehicles and have been involved in one way or another ever since, including working for the company. And I still work for Land Rover today. Back in April of last year, so not quite a year ago, but close to it, they cut me down to 3 days a week at the dealership. At first, I worked in sales because that's where they were hiring. But as far as a salesperson goes, I mean, I always got along with the clients, and I got some bees out here. They're swarming some of the hummingbird feeders, not the good ones that I got, but some of them. Okay. Is it the orange? I've always been good with the clients. It's just as far as sales go, I was better at showing the people how to operate their cars and stuff like that. So I did eventually, around 2020, moved into doing deliveries, encore deliveries, paperwork, things like that with the clients, offsite typically. A lot of my customers, you would know them by name. You know, I don't even know if I want to say names right now, but you would definitely know who they are. You've watched them on TV. You've seen the movies they've produced, acted in. You've heard the music they have made. You've watched them dunk the ball or throw the ball or hit the ball in some fashion. Maybe one of these days I'll name names, but not today. So getting into YouTube has been so much fun for me, and I picked up a lot of the stuff very quickly. The new programs out there are pretty amazing. They're super powerful, but a lot of the concepts are the same. So when it comes to shooting and lighting and sound, editing, even doing some of the graphics, keyframing, titles, all of that stuff, it all came back to me very quickly. And I really love it. I mean, I didn't know how much I missed being out of that world of producing content in some form or another. Speaking of my wife, we met in 1989 in the spring, and we did eventually get married in the mid 90s, and we bought our first house then. So after that, we did quite a bit of traveling, mostly to, actually, maybe almost exclusively to, maybe Amsterdam is like more like Western civilization, but exclusively to more exotic areas because we were kind of into that. So we've been to Africa a couple of times, Central America, things like that. I like to go to like jungles or ruins, things like that. I think mainly, God, wow, I that just brought back something. We were planning on doing a trip to go visit my grandparents. This was in like 1990. God, when was this? I don't remember. Late 90s. had to have been late 90s, early 2000s, something like that. We were planning a trip. We were going to go to like New Orleans, and then we were going to go visit my grandparents who they lived here, but they moved over. They bought a big ranch in Tennessee. So we were going to do like that whole thing. And we were sitting inside the little courtyard at Disneyland, right in New Orleans Square, which you can't get to anymore. It's kind of like the base of the stairway for Club 33. And it's, like I said, it's closed off now. We've been in there several times, not Club 33, but in that little area, even with our kids. I remember one time it was raining at Disneyland. We went in there with the kids, kind of get out of the rain a little bit. We were sitting on one of those benches there, and if you know the place I'm talking about, you're going to know exactly what the benches I'm talking about. And I think they might use one there to block off one of the entrances with the gate behind it, and the benches in front. And I said to my wife, I said, we had just gotten off like the Jungle Cruise or something, and I was like, wouldn't it be better if we kind of went like someplace like really get out and about? And I think that's when we went to Belize and Guatemala to see ruins and stuff like that. And then after that, we just kind of stuck to that plan and went to the more exotic kind of places, not so much Western civilization, like Egypt and things like that. So yeah, that we made that decision sitting in that little courtyard in Disneyland. I remember it. I hadn't thought about it in a long time, but as soon as I started talking about it, yeah, it totally brought it all back. So getting into the daily vlogging, and what brought about this conversation was Jeff Adams. Jeff Adams over at Creative on the Mend. He's also doing a daily vlog. I spoke about him the other day, and he was talking about his YouTube channel being a bit of an escape for him. And I understand what he's saying. I totally get it. My thoughts on that are similar, but slightly different. So I've always had this fascination with like heavily themed things, where like at Disneyland, for instance, when you walk into the Indiana Jones ride, Temple of the Forbidden Eye, like everything, all the surfaces, everything are completely like totally themed. Raiders of the Lost Ark, when you watch that movie, down to the last detail. Jurassic Park is another one. Like I went so deep into that movie when it came out, just because from everything you saw to everything you heard, it was like themed to the max. I guess we can call it that. Well, I don't know. Like with the YouTube vlogging, I don't know if escaping or escapism or a form of escape is the proper term. It's just that I kind of feel like I'm in my own little world, that I create. And I don't know why that's so appealing to me. I mean, I do that here in my yard all the time. I mean, this is my own little world that I created, and I enjoy it sometimes for hours by myself without saying a word to anybody. But that I get that sense, like when I'm making it, when I'm editing it, I'm sitting down, having some coffee, putting the cuts together. And it's not this channel. It's not like I'm doing like, music and transitions and cutaways, B-roll, all that. I don't do that with this channel because I want to keep it more streamlined. It's daily. I do that with my other channel, but it's just, I don't know. I feel like I'm in my own little world that I create. And I don't know if that's the same thing as an escape, but I suppose it could be, but I just don't see it the same way. And I want to give Jeff a thanks for the shout out, and he even showed a couple of clips on his vlog that I watched today. I think it's today's vlog that he put out. Thank you for that. That was really cool. So that's a little bit about me, who I am. I don't know. I love gardening. I love tropical plants. I love growing these things. I love water features. I'm like a nut about water features, whether they be, like little fountains or these kind of faux waterfalls. In fact, my first 2 paychecks when I started working at the pet store, I saved up and bought a fiberglass, stone looking, obviously faux rock fiberglass waterfall at Green Thumb down here. And golly, I think it was about $215 with tax and all that. It came with a little pump. My parents must have thought I was nuts. I put it in my bedroom for a little while, but it splashed a little bit too much, so I stuck it out. So I actually got that one back. Not that one, but one exactly like it. And I did a little vlog about it. Seems like forever ago, right? This is only vlog 39. 39 days, I guess. But that seems like forever ago. This daily vlogging has completely changed the shape of time for me. I don't know how or why, but when I think back to that first daily vlog that I did walking down Ventura Boulevard getting my red window coffee, it does not seem like 30 some days ago at all. But yeah, I don't know, just certain little things fascinate me, and it feels like I'm just creating that little world that I want to live in. That's what it seems like to me anyway. Another thing about me, I love coffee. I love the taste of coffee. I love the smell of coffee. I love the whole ritual of it, whatever that may be. It's different for all kinds, but it's just something I look forward to every day, all day, and sometimes even into the night when I'm editing. I don't know, it's just very comforting to have it all the time. And my favorite for drip coffee is Tim Hortons. I learned about that on a trip to Montreal, and I guess it's kind of like their Dunkin' Donuts there. And I guess there's some that are coming to the States now, although they're not here in our area. But I am, I think, a coffee fiend. I know you've seen a lot of my visits to Nook Coffee and Red Window Coffee. For espresso, I mean, they're like top notch. Nook especially. But at home, it's Tim Hortons for me, straight off of Amazon. And you know what's funny? I never saw the episode of Adam the Woo showing his house in Celebration, Florida. He did kind of like a little interior tour of it. I didn't see that, sadly, until after he passed. But I noticed when he made coffee in his K-Cup thing, I saw the label and I'm like, oh my God, that's Tim Hortons original. So I know Adam had good taste in coffee too, if he was getting Tim Hortons. They used to sell it at Bed Bath & Beyond and these big things. I've been getting it for years. I mean, 2013 was when I discovered it. And as soon as we found it at Bed Bath & Beyond, maybe 2 years later, I started buying it regularly. And then Bed Bath & Beyond went away, and I went to Amazon. Sure enough, Tim Hortons. If you like coffee, you got to give it a try. So from the pet industry to medical staffing to film and television production to working for Land Rover, I don't know. It's kind of a weird path, isn't it? I mean, you might have a path that meanders further than that, but you're welcome to tell me down in the comments, oh, and you know what? This is something I've never done. Please subscribe and comment and like my videos. And yeah, I don't even do that on my other channel. I need to do that more. My other channel's doing great, by the way. I got monetized in under 5 months, and the views have fallen off recently since the middle of January. I don't know why. Something happened. I don't know if it had anything to do with me, but working on that. In fact, I got to go get editing my other video. I've been working on it this morning. I got to get it finished up today, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, but I think I'll have it done today. I think I'll get it uploading hopefully tonight. But yeah, anyway, if you have a stranger career path than that, let me know. The only thing I can say, I suppose, is that I stayed with it a long time in each one of them. I mean, for the pet industry, started in 1985 and I went through to 1995. So that's 10 years. And then later in 95, I went into the medical staffing service, and it started out as marketing, and then because of the way things happened, ended up basically running the place. Started transitioning into television production and whatnot about halfway through that journey, and then went full-time in that industry in 2005, kind of like March of 2005, and left that in 2013 at the end, or August of 2013. And I've been with Land Rover since then. So this might be my longest, Land Rover might be my longest stint. Jaguar Land Rover, anyway, might be my longest stint yet. But yeah, let's hear about your work adventures. I'm always interested in hearing from other people, connecting with other people. That's actually been a big part of how I've gotten to the places that I've gotten to, the jobs that I've done. I guess what I'm doing today, my position in life, whatever that may be. But thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy this episode, and I appreciate you spending your time with me. And I will see you tomorrow. And until then, take care.